And good morning. Welcome to another live stream. Um, First things first, if everyone could hit the subscribe, like, and share button, that'd be really good. That's really bad. Um, Today I want to talk about assistance dogs, or assistance animals. Um, I've come across this thing yesterday through LinkedIn about a woman who sued Qantas to get her assistance dog on an airplane because they refused her the dog entry into the cabin. So we'll play the story first, and we'll talk more about this issue. So just play it, please, Chris.
Go! Go, go! Yes!
Strike is a 3-year-old border collie.
Good boy!
And for most of his life, he's been an assistance animal to his owner, Rachel, who lives with disabilities.
Good boy. I can't imagine my life without him now. He's changed my life significantly. And yeah, I've done things now that I never dreamt of being able to do before I had him.
That includes air travel. Rachel and Strike have been on plenty of flights in the last 2 years, travelling on Virgin and Rex for Rachel's work.
He alerts to medical issues before they're detectable. So it just gives me a chance to be able to address them before they become an issue. But he also does a lot of other things, even just helping with anxiety.
But Strike isn't allowed on Qantas flights. That's because he wasn't trained by the accredited agencies specified under Qantas's rules. He is, however, recognised and funded as an assistance dog by the National Disability Insurance Scheme.
It doesn't matter what I supply to Qantas, they're refusing to acknowledge his status as a qualified assistance dog.
Rachel is now taking the airline to court, accusing the national carrier of breaching disability discrimination laws.
Qantas is making its own rules, which we say is arbitrary and unfair and inconsistent with what is required and allowed under the national laws.
The airline has told the ABC it recognises the important role that properly trained assistance dogs perform for travellers with specific needs, and it carries many on board each year. But Rachel says there are many more like her.
We're hoping to achieve policy change so that it's easier for other handlers like myself to be able to access flights with Qantas.
A leap of faith.
Yeah, good boy.
Naz Campanella, ABC News.
Okay, so you can see there that in this particular case, this dog provides alerts for medical conditions. Now, I know where I live, there's a woman who has a dog that detects epileptic seizures before they happen, so she's got time to prepare herself for a seizure. And I know there's other dogs out there who can detect diabetic comas coming on. And let's not forget guide dogs in the essential part they play in people's lives. Now, these animals, they save people's lives on a daily basis. They provide a service, assistance, but people rely on these animals for their safety. And I've been looking into this over the last few years because when I had my guide dog, we were attacked so many times by dogs running out of front yards and loose dogs wandering around. I don't know how many times I had to get in between my guide dog and another dog. And I was actually bitten once on the back of the leg. So this is a really important topic for me personally. For that reason, I think my personal opinion is that I don't think pets should be allowed in CBDs. only assistance dogs, service dogs, or animals. Simply because people relied on put their safety in the hands of the animals. And we really do not have, and what we really do need is a national registry of assistance dogs. So every state has the same rules and regulations as far as assistance dogs. Now, I've looked into the Queensland version. Their assistance dogs, they're assessed every year after they've been trained and they have a handler. They're assessed every year. And if they fail, then they have to go back and be retrained before they're granted that certificate saying that they're a service dog or assistance dog. Now, in New South Wales, this is done once every 2 years. And the only qualifications that you need to have is a Cert 3 in animal behaviour, dog behaviour, which you can get through TAFE, which I really don't think's enough of a qualification to train an assistance dog. And another thing that it's really scary too is that you can go online. We looked online yesterday at Amazon, and you can pick up a coat with the service assistance dog on a jacket that you put on the dog for $30. So anyone could buy one of these jackets that go on a dog. Say it's an assistance dog, when it's just a bloody pet. Now, people who have an assistance dog know where they can and can't take their dogs and their responsibilities, like picking up their waste. I used to carry around little disposable nappy plastic bags to pick up my dog's waste. And if there wasn't a bin, I used to put it in a plastic jar that I used to carry. And when I got home, I'd empty it into the bin. But we need one national registry that's right across Australia. And I really like the Queensland version, where these animals are assessed annually. And they also should have a registration card with the picture of the animal that can be carried around to show proof. Realistically, ideally, we shouldn't have to do this, but realistically, when you can buy stuff off Amazon to say your dog's as an assistance dog when it's just a household pet, we need to do these things. We need to have a registration card because these dogs are highly trained. They know that they can't bark at other animals. They got to do their job. They can't be distracted. There's so many things an assistance dog has to do. And there's a huge difference between an assistance dog and a companion dog. A companion dog doesn't have the same rights as an assistance dog. We looked it up yesterday. They're basically a pet, a companion dog. But under the NDIS rules, once you meet certain qualifications, provide proof of the organisation that you got the dog from, that they're registered and all that stuff, then you can get support from the NDIS for your assistance dog, which is great because it can become expensive. When I had my guide dog, I used to take him to the vet regularly. Although they never charged me the full fee because he was a guide dog, it still cost me. There was still out-of-pocket expenses to take him to the vet for a checkup. So what do we do? Every state has their own rules and regulations on assistance dogs. Why can't we just have one national registry where it's recognised right across Australia? Very much like a driver's license. You can get a driver's license in New South Wales and you can drive in every other state. But if you have a driver's license from New South Wales and you move to Queensland, you've got a certain amount of time to transfer your license. So you're licensed in Queensland, but you still drive through every state in Australia. We need the same thing for this assistance dog registration. It's such an important issue. When I first got my guide dog, I think it was like $30,000 just to train a guide dog, and it could be up to another $30,000 in training the handler and the guide dog to learn to walk different routes. So that basically became a $60,000 dog. Now, that was like nearly 25 years ago. I think those prices are now doubled. So for a guide dog, I think you're looking around, up to $120,000. It's an expensive dog. My guide dog was attacked so many times, he became dog shy. Every time he seen another dog, he watched it all the time. He would even turn his head to look behind him to make sure the dog wasn't going to attack him. Now, if this happens too much and the dog loses confidence, they're retired. The dogs are retired. So all that training and all that money goes down the tube. And I was given a card that was laminated that told me where I couldn't take my guide dog, and on the other side was the legislation. If anyone said the dog couldn't come into a shop, there was the legislation there saying that they could. But I don't know why Qantas didn't allow this assistance dog on when it allows other dogs on. I know that where I live, there's there's a few guide dogs around, and quite often they fly to and from Sydney, and there's never an issue. So why there was an issue with this particular dog, I don't know. Maybe it wasn't. There was no registration card. Maybe she was in the process of moving. I don't know. But I've also seen people say, oh, it's an assistance dog because my son or my daughter, they have anxiety. I'm sorry, it's not an assistance dog. It's just a pet, if that's what it's for. If it's for anxiety or the child doesn't like being alone. If they're not diagnosed with autism or something like that, then it's not an assistance dog. It's just a companion dog, which is just a glorified pet. So where do we go from here? How do we start getting a national registry that every state in Australia will abide by? Like I said, I personally think that the Queensland version is the best I've seen so far. Annual assessments, if it fails, it has to go back and get retrained and recertified. Don't know. I don't know if there's anyone out there that's got any comments, Chris?
We've got a comment from Anne S. Smith, who says everyone that has a pet has vet bills. Which I'm not sure if that's.
Yeah, well, yes, you do. Pets do have vet bills, but you're not putting your life in those pets' hands, though, like people do with a guide dog or someone who has an assistance dog that can detect epilepsy or a diabetic coma. They're highly trained. Highly trained. And what the NDIS funding does, as far as I'm aware, helps with ongoing costs that these dogs incur. They're not a pet. They have to pass rigorous training. The trainers have to be certified through the state and through the NDIS. So it's not just any dog can become funded by the NDIS if a person has a disability. Like I said, there's stringent test requirements from the NDIS for an assistance dog. Now, I know I've spoken to my O&M instructors, and they said that the guide dogs in Australia are transitioning to follow the guide dogs training from America. Now, I don't know why. Maybe it's to do with insurances and international recognition. I don't know. But yeah, a lot of these O&M instructors have to now retrain under the American system, from what I understand. And it's very different to the Australian system. So now these guide dog trainers and O&M instructors, they have a lot of rigorous training and education as well. It's not like they turn up once a week to be trained. They do Cert 4 and O&M training, which is done through a university. So I don't know. I just have big concerns about people buying these vests that you can put on a dog that says service or assistance dog. And they can just put it on their normal pet and try and con their way through it so they can take their dogs with them on holiday. I don't know. The registration should be recognised right throughout every state. There should be a picture of like a driver's license, should be a picture of the dog on the registration card saying that is an assistance dog. But yeah, why this lady and her dog Striker wasn't allowed on Qantas, I really don't know. Because when you take your dog on an aeroplane or a train or even a Greyhound bus, dogs cannot sit on the seat. They have to sit on the floor next to the feet of the handler. They're trained not to bark, not to react to other dogs and other stimulants. Yeah, I don't know. We do definitely need a national registry, one national registry that's recognised by every state, that every state follows. Like I said, and I think the Queensland version of it is probably the best I've seen. You can take your animals in taxis and trains, ferries, um, you know, public buses. I used to take my dog on the public bus all the time. But I don't know. Is there any more questions or comments here, Chris? No additional comments. All right. If anyone wants to contact me, my email address is blindadvocate007@gmail.com. If you want me to raise a topic, or if you want to leave a comment on YouTube, my YouTube channel, whether you agree with me or not, and you don't like what I've said today, just leave a comment. Give me some feedback. It's always appreciated, even the stuff that's not good. All right. There's no other comments, and I could have got people up here today who have a guide dog, but I think it's fairly well established what guide dogs do. It's just this new area of the assistance dogs with notifying the handlers of medical conditions. It's really new. It's only been around for the last 20 years. But everyone seems to have an assistance dog lately, and I'm not sure whether it's they're buying the jackets from Amazon or what, but it's maybe it's getting a little out of hand. That's why Qantas and everyone else is starting to crack down. Don't know. But anyway, we'll just leave it there for today. Please feel free to make comments and reach out to me for any reason at all. All right, we'll end it there. Thanks, Chris.